Right, just a quick update on the Supercharger Pinto setup. I have been playing with a few things. So, by all accounts, a factory fuel pump should be enough to fill the bowls on both of those. They are side bowls, which these ones here being HS6 carbs. They have a bowl on each side with a float and everything in them to keep it up. By all accounts, a factory 2-litre pump should be enough to keep those full. And what we'll do is we'll have them staged. So basically, we'll use a little cam on the butterflies. I'll have one butterfly over here, and I'm going to try and make it link to the factory linkage, so you can use a factory accelerator cable and then through linkages be able to turn it. So we'll have them staged so that this one will open, and then when it gets to like halfway or even 3/4 of the way, it'll the cam will start opening this one to the point that when they're full throttle, both will be open. But tootling around, idling and everything, it should just be running off one. There's enough fuel and air there for quite a few hundred horsepower, and this will never make that. This here, it's just a silicone joiner that's going to go straight into a pipe on a plate that's welded on here. So the air just goes straight in. Now that the Supercharger is fully mounted, I do have a bit more room in there, so I wouldn't mind seeing how it fits around an unmodified manifold. And let's see. Oh, you can, as you can see, you can still get an oil filter in there. Everything clears. Side entry dizzy cap now, heaps of room for adjustment, vacuum advance. Nice little Pinto cam belt tensioner, and as you can see, it's wrapped around nicely. I couldn't find an 8 pk bottom pulley anywhere, so I ended up with a water pump pulley off some Ford I found at the wreckers. I can't remember what it is now, but that allows for a 6 pk belt, so there's quite a bit of room there, quite a bit of grip, and as you can see, it's mostly around that one and mostly around that one. It also means that it's geared for maximum RPM. For that is 10,000 RPM constantly, or 11,000 RPM of bursts of speed. So I found a pulley that would gear it at 10,000 RPM and the motor at 6.2, and it also means that building up while the motor's idling at around about 1,000, that's already at 1,600 RPM. So no matter what the motor's doing, this is always doing a little bit more, all the way up until that's kind of peakish power on a factory Pinto, 6.2, 10,000 RPM. Not sure what boost it would do, but we'll find out eventually. Ignore the exhaust manifold. I'm also working on something for my motor. That's my turbo manifold. I'm looking at heat shields and alternative coil-on plugs, so ignore that. But that's it. It's quite well done. The manifold is absolutely stunning. We had that 3D printed. So this was the initial carb to Supercharger design. I did make one out of alloy, but I don't need to see if it was actually going to work and fit. So I gave him mate measurements. He 3D printed me this, and let me know that it's all going to actually work. It's good spacing, and then what he did was he made another one, even better, a bit more bracing, direct holes straight into the ports. And then when we're happy with that, and I was happy with that, very happy with that, sent the file off to a company and had one made. So this is 3D. I can't remember the material it was, but it's 3D printed. It's oil and fuel resistant and heat resistant as well. So you should isolate the carbs pretty nicely from the Supercharger. It's so nice. There's actually quite a bit of weight in it as well. So that there is the twin SU HS6 Carbs to SC14 Supercharger. So if anyone needs one or would like one, a mate has it on file. The only thing we thought of afterwards, and I think it was mentioned to him, was we could have recessed it for O-rings, which would have been pretty bloody cool actually. So no gaskets needed. We could have just had a nice O-ring seal. Never mind. It is what it is. Hopefully should isolate them enough that that's not an issue anymore. Trumpets are on. To be honest with you, the reason why this has taken so long is I got fucked around. Those carbs were off, like, are over 50 years old and off the Rover P6B, I believe. I found a company in the UK that did full gasket sets, and that guy fucked me around so much. Absolutely fucked me around for ages. And then when I tried to get my money back, he fucked me around doing that. So eventually I got it back, and that's why it's taken so long, and just ended up buying the bits I need to rebuild these here in New Zealand. So next job will be to figure out how to put it all back together. I did mark those on which carbs came out, so on what carbs they came out of. But yeah, like I say, fucked me around no end. So I know it looks massive, right? I worked out originally that it will only ever fit into a Mark III, 4 or 5 Cortina. And from the head to inside the guard behind the headlight was around about 500 mil. That there, from the head to the end of those trumpets, is 450 mil. So yes, it looks big, but it would fit into a Mark III, 4 or 5 Cortina. It would probably fit into an Escort if you chopped the sidewall out, like the inner wing, and boxed it in like some people do with air filters. Then yeah, it would fit in there. Now the other thing I've done is I've started making a test bed that I can run a motor on. So that's going to be my test motor. I slapped that together out of used parts. I'm going to get that running on that little test bed there, and then I'll be able to bolt all the Supercharger stuff to it and see if I can get it all to work. But like I say, I have no idea what I'm going to do with it yet. I mean, ideally finding another Cortina would be good, but my Cortina's got a 2-litre Pinto in it. That one of the covers a different motor. So not sure. It might sit on a shelf, I might sell it. Someone might be interested in it. If anything, it's cool looking art, but like I say, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with it. But it looks awesome. Hopefully it works. I mean, I've gone this far that it has to, I suppose. Who knows? So yep, that's the update on the Supercharger setup. I think it's one of the coolest setups I've ever made, actually. But turbos and EFI is probably, way more efficient. Thanks for watching.